Welcome to installment number 273 of the Mitzvahs as enumerated by Maimonides, the Rambam. Today we are actually going back to a mitzvah that we spoke about a little while ago. It is Positive Commandment 245, which discusses the laws of buying and selling and when we have actually acquired or brought into our possession certain items. Now, what's interesting is, why are we discussing this again? We've already talked about this mitzvah. And the reason is because the Sefer HaMitzvos that we follow is actually in conjunction. It goes according to the same schedule as the study of the 3 chapters of Rambam, of Maimonides' legal code. And in biblically, there is not any specific, a different mitzvah that talks about something that has been acquired that was never owned before, something that didn't belong to anybody and then you acquire it, or something that has been given to you as a gift. However, this is what Maimonides is speaking about in his legal code, in his 3 chapters a day. That is what is being spoken about for the next 4 days, actually. So for the next 4 days, we are going to be discussing this positive commandment of acquiring something, even though we've already talked about it, because there isn't anything and any specific mitzvah that mentions these things. And if you remember, we discussed at the time that there was a difference between movable objects and immovable objects and what it took to make something yours that can be called that it is under your possession. And an interesting example that Maimonides gives here is he says it's like a watchman. If somebody asks a watchman, to guard their possession, at which point does his job start? When does he start officially being the watchman? It's when the object is in his possession, when you actually pick it up and you give it to him and he is holding it or it's in his area so he can watch it. This is when it is officially his to watch. And just an important distinction here is that biblically, once a person gives money, it is yours. However, rabbinically, it's actually been added, these added things that we've spoken about, where it's handed from one to the other, or if it's lifted, taking actual possession. All these things are important. And the reason is, as we've discussed at the time, is that because what would happen was, if this object was still in the original owner's possession, and now the person paid for it, if there was a fire or if there was a burglary in their house, would the original owner go and try to save that item? Or would he say, I already got the money for it, I'm all set, doesn't matter. So it's really there to protect the buyer, that until it is in his possession, until he actually picked up the item and brought it into his own house, it is still considered under the ownership of the original owner, so as to protect the buyer. For the next few days, we're actually going to be speaking about a little bit more of a deeper application to these mitzvahs that we are speaking about. So stay tuned for tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.